Hi and good time of day, everyone. This is Backgammon Master Isaac Solsky from the Backgammon Learning Center, and today we are going to be speaking about Mr. John Crawford, whom you see here in the picture, and his rule, the Crawford rule, also known as the Crawford Game. Why do we have it? What purpose does it serve? Why was it written in such a way and not otherwise? And how we should conduct ourselves as the leaders or as the trailers when we are playing the Crawford Game or after it. All of this and more in this short program. So, introducing Mr. John Crawford, American 20th century strong player, strong expert in both bridge and backgammon. Interestingly, he was married to a lady named Carol, who was also a very, very talented player in bridge and in backgammon. She even became a world champion in 1973, Carol Crawford. But John Crawford is the inventor of the Crawford rule that we are going to discuss today. So, what is this rule? Many people just play backgammon casually. They play many games. After every game, they settle, they pay, or they pay for free, and they don't care about this kind of a rule. It doesn't apply to them. But some people play matches. When you play a match, you play to a set score. The first person to reach 3 points or 5 points, normally it's an odd number, 5 points, first to five, first to seven. And people can also play these kind of matches and never need the Crawford game. The Crawford rule applies to specific kind of play in which you use the doubling cube. We're going to make a separate program about doubling cube, what it is, how to use it. Many people still don't know. Actually, I think that over 90, probably over 95, 98 people who play, percent of people who play backgammon worldwide never understood what this big die is here for. This big die that came with the set has these kind of weird numbers that normally you don't roll. 2, 16, 64. It also has 4 and 8 and 32. And obviously, the Crawford rule only applies to those kind of matches when you use this special doubler in order to occasionally double the value of a game. Normally in backgammon, we can win a point or two or three, but as we can double or quadruple or 8 times tuple or 16 tuple the value of a game, we can also win other numbers of points inside the game, such as 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 12, etc., etc. And at some point, we're going to reach a certain number, and that's going to be what we are playing up to. So let's say that we play a match to 11 point. So the Crawford rule would say that once one of the player reaches a score that is 1 point away from winning for the first time, so in a match to 11 point, the first player to reach 10, that situation is really special because at that point, the person has no use for the doubling cube. He only needs 1 point. He will never double the game. And the idea of the Crawford rule is to disallow his opponent from doubling for one game. So first of all, we want to understand why this is even necessary. Let's take again a match to 11 points, and let's say that we are trailing 8, 9 to 10, and we reach this position as black. We have 8 points, the opponent has 9 points. Obviously, the opponent is on the bar. We have a very imposing front. It's not so hard to escape our back checkers. They go here to the left and down, then to the right. We should be quite easily winning the game. Actually, if we offer to double the stakes, if we say, hey, how about we play this to 2 points instead of 1, this means that by winning a gammon, we win 4 points and we just win the match. The opponent will probably say, no, thanks. I'd rather lose a point and be equal at 9 all. So knowing that and seeing that our position is quite threatening and we have quite considerable chances of, completing our missing 3 board points, hitting a second checker, keeping it on the bar, closing everything out, bringing our 2 checkers around, bearing off our checkers, and the opponent will at some point enter from the bar and start bringing home 10 checkers. Obviously, we are going to win a gammon in this scenario, which is not so unlikely. So we say, you know what, I'm going to be risking a little bit. Instead of just taking a sure point, by offering a doubling cube to the opponent when he cannot accept it, I will take considerable risk because maybe the attack will not work. Maybe I will lose the game, but I calculate that it's worthwhile for me to try for 2 points. If I win 2 points, I will be leading 10-9, so I'm going to be just 1 point away from winning the match. My opponent will need 2. This is a worthwhile risk. Now, the thing is that if we didn't have the Crawford rule, I could make all of this effort and win a gammon and lead 10-9, only to have my opponent turn the doubling cube next game on the very first move and say, hey, shall we play for 2 points? I will say, sure, and my advantage just went up in smoke. So the Crawford rule actually makes the match a lot more interesting. It adds profundity to the match because without it, nobody would make any effort to win an extra point in this kind of a situation and in many other situations. And we want the lead of the leader when he's just short 1 point from winning the match. We want that lead to be more meaningful. So we disallow the opponent from using the cube. And somebody could say, wait a minute, why should we allow it at all? Why only one game? Why don't we say that once one player reaches 1 point away, nobody uses the cube anymore? Because you could say that this would be unfair to the leader because the leader doesn't need more than 1 point. However, that would be a little bit unbalanced because the leader got to his position, he got to those 10 points, probably by using the doubling cube earlier. So it should be fair to let the trailer also enjoy the doubling cube. So, not allowing it for just one game, that was a very wise compromise. And that's how most matches are played today when using the doubling cube. So let's examine a little bit what happens, how the Crawford game actually changes the anatomy of matches. So let's say that we have to play the Crawford game. We're trailing, we're behind, we are missing a certain number of points. We're playing to 11 points, and our opponent just made his 10th points, and this is now the Crawford game. We are trailing, and obviously, in order to have any chance at all, we need to survive the Crawford game. We need to win it. If we lose it, the opponent just completed 11, the match is over. We do need to survive this game by winning it any old way. And from this point, after we survive the Crawford game, we can use the doubling cube. So from now on, all of our points will come in pairs. They will come two at a time, just like Noah's Ark or like a romantic evening on the beach. Here it is, the romantic evening on the beach with the doubling cube on the side. So let's say that we are playing to 11 points and we got into the Crawford game and we are trailing 3-10. We survived the Crawford game and it is now 4-10. 4-10, but we're obviously going to be using the doubling cube each and every game just to be able to catch up. And we have nothing to risk by using it on the first move of each and every game because it doesn't matter for us how many points we lose. The moment we lose anything, the match is over. But we want to maximize our chances, and we think our good fortune that we're still allowed to use this doubling cube. So the points are going to be coming in pairs. How is this useful? Why is this interesting? Why do we see these pairs on the beach with these strange numbers over their heads? What does it even mean? And this is interesting because if we are after the Crawford game and we just made our ninth point by surviving, so we are trailing 9-10, we can turn the doubling cube to the opponent. If he drops it, it doesn't matter, it's 10-10. But if he takes it, this following game will be the last one for the match. We only need to win one game, whether we have 9 points or 10. Let's say that we have 7 points. Yes, we are trailing 7-10. So normally we will need to win 2 doubled games or 1 doubled gammon. This would be the same also if we had 8 instead of 7. 5-10, we would be trailing by 3 games, or a gammon and a game, or maybe a game and a gammon, or maybe a backgammon, a double backgammon from 5-11. We win 6 points, we win the match, but the same discussion goes for 6-11. 5 or 6 doesn't matter, 7 or 8 doesn't matter, 9 or 10 doesn't matter. Do you notice a pattern here? You see? And this pattern can be actually exploited, it can be actually used. It can be used in different ways. First of all, we can ask ourselves as the trailer during the Crawford game, does a gammon actually matter for me? Obviously, I couldn't care less if I lose a gammon. I can take as many risks as I want. I don't mind at all. It's not like a normal game that I want to be careful from gammons. Here, I just need to win. Gammons doesn't lose anything extra for me. This means that I can take some risks that in an ordinary game I wouldn't. But how much do I want to win a gammon? And that's quite interesting. So we see, for example, that if we need 8 points to win the match. Let's take this same example that we are trailing 3-10. And it says here in the table that it actually matters. At 8 points away, if I'm behind 3-10, I do want to win a gammon. I do want to win a gammon. Why? Because if I win a normal game, you see 4-10 is not even in this picture. 4-10 is one game behind. If at 9-10 I had to win one game, at 7-10 I had to win 2 games, at 5-10 I had to win 3 games. If I win the Crawford game from 3-10 and I get a 4th point, I still need to win a game to reach this position here. Okay, so I need 4 games to win the match. However, I can shorten it by winning a gammon during the Crawford game, reaching 5 points, at which point I only need 3 games. So I saved myself a game. What happens if I'm behind 7 points? If I need 7 points to win? So I would be trailing 4-10. This means that I'm behind 6, but I need 7 to win, 4-10. And here it doesn't matter if I win a gammon. It doesn't matter at all. Because what do I care if I win a point and reach 5, or if I won a gammon and reach 6? In any case, my situation is the same. However, there is this sting at those post-Crawford games when I'm behind and I don't care about the gammon. And the sting is very simple. I could actually use a backgammon, right? A backgammon gives me 3 points and I would reach 7 points. I would kind of still sneak away one position just by winning it the right way, which is interesting because normally in backgammon, when I play post-Crawford and I don't need a gammon, I don't have a reason to take certain risks in order to win it. However, my opponent, who is the leader, needs to be a little bit more careful, not leaving too many blots around, moving out of the home board late in the game, maybe a bit earlier than usual, because a backgammon is really, really costly. It simply puts me one position forward, and that would have been obvious if I was 3 points away. At 3 points away, yeah, if I'm playing the Crawford game from 3 points away, I don't care if I win a gammon, you see. I'm kind of 8-10. 8-10. If I win a game, it's 9-10. If I win a gammon, it's 10-10. However, a backgammon just wins me the match straight away. That's quite dramatic. So there is this kind of a duality when on one hand I don't really play for gammons, but on the other hand I keep an eye open, and if the opponent is taking too many risks and is a bit too free, and I see the glimmer of a backgammon appear somewhere in the background, I might tend to pursue it with greater zeal than would be normally the case. Which brings us to this one score that is here in red. If I'm 2 points away, and this is the Crawford game, just like in the example we showed before, in this example here, if I manage to win a gammon and I will be leading 10-9 Crawford, suddenly my opponent will be very, very ambitious to score a gammon because a gammon wins in the match. And me as the leader, I will be really, really careful not to lose a gammon. Because, I'm leading 10-9. If I just lost a single game, it's 10-all. I'm still equal, but losing a gammon is disastrous. It just means the entire match. So a gammon acquires monstrous proportions for the leader when he's leading 10-9 on a match to 11. The leader will be very, very careful not to lose a gammon. It's called gammon save mode. And the trailer is going to be quite aggressive in pursuing it. That's called gammon go mode. These two modes, by the way, are very worthwhile studying because many, many elements of the games are different. The way you play the opening, the way you play the attack, the way you play your checkers. It does matter if you are in the kind of a score where a gammon really, really matters a lot. These are already more advanced considerations that we're not going to be touching today with much depth. And okay, so we covered gammons during the Crawford game. And the next subject we have to cover is the free take and the free drop. Most of you have heard about the free take, I suppose. Sorry, most of you have heard about the free drop, I suppose, even though not everybody is sure what it means, how to use it, when to use it, not to mention exceptions in using it. We're going to show some special cases later in the video, but probably not many of you heard about the free take, and we are going to take up both of these subjects. So we survived the Crawford game. We are now trailing to 11. No, we are actually leading. We are leading with 10 points to 11. We are leading 1 point, and our opponent is any number of points back. And we're going to explain free take and free drop here. For example, let's say that our opponent has 5 points. We are leading 10-5, okay? We are leading 10-5. So if we watch again these couples on the beach here, as we are leading 10-5, we might as well be leading 10-6. It wouldn't matter much. So let's say that at 10-5, we start the game. We get the opening roll, and we roll nicely. We roll a 3-1, and we make the 5 point, and the opponent offers the cube, a doubling cube, and we say, okay, we have a nice position. Of course, we take it, and let's play on. But let's say it was the other way. Let's say the opponent rolled the opening roll, and he didn't even have to roll a 3-1. Let's say that he rolled something quite indifferent. Let's say that he rolled a 6-4, and he played it anyway, by running, by making a point. Obviously, he's ahead, right? He's leading. He just got the first move advantage. So obviously I have every chance to win the game, but it's probably a bit less than 50%, right? It was 50% exactly before I knew who was playing first, but as the opponent is playing first and he made a relatively useful move, he's ahead, maybe by 2%, maybe by 3%, doesn't matter. He offers me the doubling cube, I reject it, I drop it. Why should I play from 47% winning chances when I can just drop the cube, lead 10-6, the opponent still needs 3 games or a gammon in a game, and I have 50% to win this new game. I'd rather play from 50%. That's a free drop. I can drop for free. It doesn't cost me anything. There will be some advanced cases in which my disadvantage is really, really tiny, in which case I will take anyway and try to use the free drop later on in the match. These are already exceptions. These are for very, very advanced players. We shouldn't be concerned about them. Normally, the free drop is there for us as the leader to just drop away a game if we don't like the position. If the position is less than 50% for us, or maybe a bit too gammonish for our taste, we will just drop it without any compunctions because the opponent didn't really make any progress by winning that point. Going from 5 to 6, it's still inside the same couple, from 7 to 8, from 9 to 10, totally doesn't matter. This is the free drop. What is a free take? Let's say now that the opponent was wrong table. Let's say now that the opponent was 6 points away, right? No, that he had 6 points. This is so confusing. More about this in a minute. The opponent has 6 points. What happens now? The opponent has 6 points and he doubles me on the first move of the game. I have 10. I'm leading 10 to 6. The Crawford game is gone. The doubling cube is back in the game. I'm leading 10 to 6. If I drop this cube, I just saved my opponent the entire effort of having to win the game. I just gifted him. You say, okay, you no longer have to win 3 games. You only have to win 2. What a horrible error. And frankly, we should take this cube because we don't care if we lose a point or if we lose 2 points, we are still going to be in the same couple. If after this game we are leading 10-7 or 10-8, it's pretty much the same thing other than the free drop that we don't care about that much. The free drop is not that much of an advantage for the leader. It's nice to have, but it's nothing to play especially about in a vast majority of cases. So we are leading 10-6, we have a free take, we can take pretty much anything. Now, this can be a little bit confusing on occasion because backgammon players sometimes count the actual score. Like I can say, okay, I'm leading 10-6 to 11 or 10-5 to 11. And sometimes they count in away scores. They count like the opposite way, like how many points am I missing to win the match? So a 10-6 lead to 11 would be 1 away, 5 away. And it's really, really popular in backgammon to count in away scores. And this is actually logical because, for example, if I'm leading 10-6 to 11, the same considerations exactly would apply if I was leading 12-8 to 13 or 14-10 to 15, or I don't know, 4-0 to 5 or 6-2 to 7. It's exactly the same kind of score. It behaves the same way. So, okay, logically, it makes more sense to count in away score, but people do count in forward scores, like 10-6 to 11. We have both systems, and they're kind of confusing because all of our matches are typically to an odd number of points. So if I have an even number of points, like 10, I'm going to be an odd number of points away, right? 10 points means 1 away. 6 points means 5 away. 5 points means 6 away, etc. So it's a bit confusing. And the table would go exactly the other way if we are counting an away score, right? We are going to have a free drop if the opponent is 4 away, 6 away, 8 away. You look at this beautiful beach nightly walk or evening walk or sunset walk, and you're going to figure it out for yourself how the away score or the counting straight for counting forward score affects the free take and free drop. It's just a little bit confusing. We can very quickly decide among ourselves on a certain rule. For example, that we only care about away scores. And of course, if we are even number of points away, then the opponent can simply give us a point and we didn't gain anything. That's how I do it. I always translate into away scores in these situations, and it gives me instant confidence if, as the leader, I have a free drop or a free take. We're going to illustrate this in a couple of positions here. But some of them are theoretical and just for demonstration, but the first one I'm going to show you comes from an actual match. And this match, I was the leader. I was leading 6-4, post-Crawford. This was after the Crawford game. And my opponent was a very nice individual who rolled the opening roll. He rolled a 5-3. He made a point inside his board here. He played from the 8 and from the 6, and he made this 3 point. I rolled the 6-5 and ran away a checker to the midpoint. And now it was his turn again. And he offered me the doubling cube, and I took it, and the game went on. And after the match was over, he told me, Isaac, you should have dropped that cube. And I said, why? Why did I have to drop this cube? And he said, obviously, I had the advantage. He was right. Why was he right? Why did he have an advantage? The position looks pretty balanced. He made some kind of a medium level point inside his board, not the best one, not the worst one. I escaped a checker to the midpoint. We both made useful moves. The position looks pretty equal, except for the fact that it's his move. And because it's his move, he's definitely leading. He's ahead. If I look here at how big his advantage is, I can see here that in this position, he can expect to win 52% of the time. And indeed, if I had a free drop, having only 48% winning chances would be reason enough to drop it, right? Let's look again at the table. At the couples on the beach, it's clearer. If this was one of these cases when I have a free drop, let's say that I was leading 10-7 or 10-7 to 11 is the same like 6-3 to 7, right? 1 away, 4 away. And I could give him a point, I wouldn't care, you know? What do I care if he got from 4 away to 3 away? He still needs 2 games or to win a doubled gammon, I wouldn't mind. The thing is that this wasn't the case. He was a little bit confused, like many people are. He was here 3 away, you see? So if I pass, he suddenly only needs to win 1 game, right? I'm going to be leading 6-5. He's going to double me on the first move, and suddenly it's for the match. And by taking, even though he has a slight advantage, he still needs to win this game and the next one, unless he happens to win a gammon this game. So the task that he faces is much bigger if I take the cube, which I correctly did. Now, we speak about a free take and a free drop, and let's look at one extreme example on how free the free drop actually is. This is a theoretical example, and it comes from the post-Crawford game, and we give ourselves now a trailing score. We will be trailing 4-6 to 7, or trailing 3 away, 1 away post-Crawford, and we know very well that in this score, the opponent has a free take. He will take anything because he doesn't want to give me an easy ride to only having to win 1 game, right? I didn't double this game. Obviously, I'm completely winning here. Look at the race. I have 77 pips to go. It's my roll. The opponent has 110. I'm miles and miles and miles ahead. I have a beautiful distribution inside my home board. I have 2 last checkers to bring in. The opponent still needs to bring 6 checkers in, and 3 of them are even on my side of the board. I mean, how is this even a race, right? It looks like a complete shutout. I must be winning here an astronomical percentage of the time. And yet, if we didn't have a doubling cube, I would still have to go through the rolls and go through the moves and actually win this game, which isn't a very difficult task. And after this, I would need to win another game. If I gave the cube here and the opponent dropped, I don't have to win here. I would just go to the next game and have to win just that. But you say, wait a minute, what are the opponent's even chances of staging a fight here? And this is amazing. It's really amazing how free the free take is. If we look here with the analysis of extreme gammon, once the numbers come around, we're going to see the numbers. Let's take a moment. Yeah, we are winning this well over 97% of the time. The opponent wins something like 2.5%, 1 game in 40, he can still take the cube. It's still worth for him to take the cube and let me prove that I can win it. So next game it's going to be 6-all. There will be no cube. There will be no free drop. He sacrifices the free drop for this 2.5% chance to win the game. This is how much value the free drop has. Not that much. You would rather let black play this position out and force him to win another game after this one, even if your winning chances are only slightly above 2.5%. Absolutely crazy. Now we say, okay, Isaac, what if this game was also gammonish? Wouldn't that make the free take less free? Let's see. Let's see. In the beginning, we saw a position that was quite gammonish, but you know, this position is from a different score. This is before the Crawford game, and it had a separate discussion. Let's look at another gammonish position from early on in the game. And here again, the opponent has a free take normally, but here I was tricky. I didn't give the cube immediately. I didn't want him to have a too easy take. By the way, this trick of keeping the cube and not giving it right away, exploiting the fact that the opponent has a free take, don't try that unless you are a really, really strong player. If you're not a very strong player, chances are you're going to be overdoing it, and you would be skipping opportunities to force the opponent to take, and later the position is so good that you actually give him an easy out. You give him an opportunity to drop the cube and just escape with equality, when if you doubled earlier, you could be winning the match. So don't try this unless you are a really experienced player. This position is only for demonstration. We're going to demonstrate here how free the free take actually is. We said here that the opponent could take pretty much everything, and we saw a position with astronomical winning chances, but when we could never actually win a gammon, right? There is no way here to win a gammon. I mean, 0.16%, It's extremely rare that we will bear everything off before the computer or the opponent bears the first one off. It's pretty much negligible. But in this position here, it's obvious that gammons are not negligible at all. Okay, we have a beautiful anchor in the opponent position. This position is highly theoretical because we had an opportunity to make many useful moves in the outfield, bring many checkers to the attacking zone, make an extra board point, advance our back checker, and it looks like the opponent never moved. He only moved 3 pips with one of his back checkers. So likely this position is just constructed, or maybe we were attacking and we were very lucky. But now we are facing this position here. No, this position is definitely not realistic. But we're facing this position here, and we ask ourselves, okay, we speak about a free take, but can the opponent really take this one? Obviously, if he loses a gammon with the doubling cube on, he's going to be losing the match. Wouldn't it be more careful or more prudent to drop the cube and just play from 50-50? And the answer is no. We look at the analysis. We're going to do it faster this time. We look at the analysis, and we see that even though we win this 61% of the time, with 17% of the time winning a gammon, the opponent still has a very, very comfortable take. You look at the numbers here, we are very far from a full point if the opponent takes. There is still everything to fight for. It's true that he's taking a risk of losing gammons here and there, but he does win this 39% of the time, which gives him the entire match, so he has no reason to drop the game and go to the next game in which it's practically 50-50. I mean, except for the free drop, let's say that he has 49% to win. No, he has 51% to win. I have 49 because he has a free drop. He's not quite that desperate yet. He can still take. Let's make it a bit more extreme. Let's take one checker off of our midpoint. Let's take one checker off of our 6. Let's give us the 5 point. So first of all, we gained a lot in the race here. We are leading by 15 pips before the roll. This must increase our winning chances. Also, we have an extra attacker in the attacking zone. We have 11 checkers here instead of 10. This 5 point is strategically super important if we ever want to build a blockade or a prime. It's a very powerful attacking asset because we're threatening to make our 3rd point by hitting here with a variety of rolls. Many more gammon wins, many more wins, still a take, still a very clear take. We look at the analysis. We win this now 25% by a gammon. A quarter of the time, he will take this cube and lose the match this game because he took it. However, he does get to win 32% of the time, not quite the 39% he had earlier, but still quite enough for a comfortable take of the cube. So the free take is really, really free. You need to be in a very extreme and very drastically bad position with too many gammon losses to drop this cube. The free take is really free. The free drop is also really free. We saw it. And this pretty much concludes this video about the Crawford game, the Crawford rule. I hope you find it useful. I hope it adds to your clarity. And this video, of course, joins a growing series of instructive videos about various aspects of our game, terminology, games, theory, advice. And we can become quite good players and much better players just watching videos and reading books and reading articles and analyzing on our own and asking questions in various forums and taking advice. However, if we want to take a methodical approach and save ourselves years of trouble and looking for the right materials, and we want to immediately learn the right methodology, the right building blocks, the right reference positions, the right considerations, and the right way of thinking, and save ourselves a lot of time in becoming very strong players, I would recommend taking personal lessons, private lessons, with a teacher from the Backgammon Training Center. Here it says, become a more accomplished player. In this center, we have some world-renowned professors and teachers, such as the founder of the center, Phil Simborg. We have Perry Gartner. We have here the USA champion many times, Steve Sachs. We have, of course, Michi. And we have other well-known players, some Israelis, Grandmaster Ido Levi, Grandmaster David Presser. We have me. I also teach in that center. We have John O'Hagan, big names. So don't waste any time. Schedule your first lesson today.